The following podcast is set for at least 1 hour. Introducing your hosts from Fort Worth, Texas, at a total combined weight of 430 pounds, Kevin and Chris Newell. The Cross Promo Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome wrestling fans. This is the Cross Promo Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Chris.
Welcome one and all. Welcome to the show. Hope you guys have had a good day so far. We are on Tuesday now. Just got done. What? What'd you say?
The Stone Cold what?
What?
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot to get through. A lot of news stories that's going on in the world of professional wrestling. Of course, we are here to provide you basically the post show in a way of what has happened on WWE NXT. Here to go over that, Chris.
Oh yeah.
Give him a sec. We caught him by surprise by starting the show tonight.
Yeah, we were sitting here and everything, and it's like, wait a minute. Wait, what's that? No.
Anyway. Go ahead. Welcome one and all that will be joining us here in the chat. Hope everything is
Well, one of the chats anyway. We got like 3 different ones here.
yeah.
Well, technically different. I mean, it's still the same stream they're replying to, so.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Alright, so today for the recap we got WWE NXT, which started off with that match between Hank and Tank and Joe Hendry teaming up against Dark State. That match ended when Dark State pinned, I think it was either Hank or Tank, one of the two.
Okay. Well, didn't Trick Williams show up?
Yeah, that was like right after that, where at some point he came out and attacked Joe Hendry.
All right.
Joe Hendry, he ended up not letting that one go. He was going to end up getting revenge for that later.
Which will be foreshadowing.
Yeah. Let's see. Then next up we had this promo thing between Thea, Carmen, and Jada, where you had Thea and Carmen talking about like moving up or whatever, making progress in NXT.
Right.
Then Jada came in and there was a short little argument, and there was a match made for like later tonight.
Okay.
Or
later in the evening.
Later in NXT, but earlier tonight because we're talking after NXT. So
I think they got it.
Yeah.
You're okay. You're doing okay.
At least I think. I don't know. Yeah. Then you had NQCC talking, basically having Charlie hype his little faction up.
Yeah, because they were I think it was all 3 were going to be participating in the over-the-top Battle Royal #1 contender match.
But he was hyping them up. Then that was then followed by a match between Kalani Jordan and Zarya. This happens after some stuff happened last week.
Yeah.
I think there was also this thing where if Kalani had won, she would have gone on for like title contendership or something.
I think so. For the North American Women's Championship.
Yep. And so Ruka was at ringside. Match ended in pinfall when Zarya pinned Kalani Jordan. Then you had Tony D'Angelo, Dawn of NXT. I had to figure out that name for a minute.
There was a tongue twister for you.
Yeah. Had to figure out. Hey!
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 I apologize for any Italian Americans out there that
They
may have
actually
seen
do that in the crowd too, which I've noticed was funny.
Again, as far as our show goes, we apologize.
Yeah. But you had Wesley and his group over here messing with him about being nervous and the whole betrayal thing, and
Right.
it was just kind of funny because considering the history of Wesley as of late,
With the Rascals.
yeah, and how he betrayed them again. I mean,
Okay.
and him. I think there's going to be a match next week.
Next
with
week
that.
there is between Wesley and Tony D'Angelo.
Then you had that battle royal where Dad had to get the pictures of everybody involved and all that. No, I'm joking.
Thankfully, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
That was too time consuming and I lost track. But we did have a special surprise.
Elijah.
Elijah,
Or
aka
Elias.
or Elias, however you want to go with it,
One of the two.
came back in a way, and yeah, that was a very good surprise.
Let's
I
see.
thought anyway.
At some
I
point,
don't know how about you all thought. I mean, you go ahead and put it in the chat and all.
at some point you had Joe Hendry get eliminated. Or no, he wasn't even in the match, but he came out and distracted Trick William, and that cost Trick William the match, and they ended up fighting after that. And then towards the end, you had Miles Bourne winning that match.
Which really was a surprise.
Was not expecting that.
I thought it was either going to be Trayvon or
Javon,
Javon. Thank you, Javon Evans,
long day.
or yeah, it was. I thought it was either going to be Javon Evans, the way that he was,
I thought for a second it was, and I was like, we already saw this.
either that or Ethan Page.
Ethan Page, I think, would be an interesting one. I don't think.
I mean, it would either be those two. It wouldn't. I don't think we would see Sean Spears in the title picture just yet.
Yeah, not yet, but at some point maybe.
Right.
And we just finished seeing Trick and Javon, so we're not gonna. I don't think we're gonna see them go back for it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Then after that, you had Jordan Grace getting interviewed, talking about how she has the power advantage in NXT. Then you had Izzy Dame come out saying how she has the size advantage, and then Last Legend also joining. And yeah,
It just seems pretty obvious. And then she like said as soon as she comes out of Battleground with as the new NXT champion, that
she'll face either like one or both of them. I don't know.
yeah,
Then you had that match between Parter and Petrovic.
Parker.
Yeah, Jada Parker and Petrovic.
Go ahead.
Checking if you had it up. But after that match ended, Jada winning by pinfall, you had Jada attacking Petrovic, and then Thea kind of coming in to stop it because I guess they're friends now.
Yeah.
And she just got thrown out of the ring. See, then you had Joe talking about how this was in response to what happened. He was talking with Thea Hale. His title is going to be at Battleground. His title will be on the line in a 1v1 against Trick Williams.
Okay.
So his TNA title,
For the first time too in WWE history.
his TNA title is going to be defended on NXT Battleground, or on NXT at Battleground.
Yeah.
The phrasing there, I'm not so sure about. Phrasing. I mean, it's not as bad as what Pat said on Raw last night.
I still have to do that video. I just realized that. I still have to do that video.
You do. You really do. If you can find like clips of it
Yeah.
circulating, because I don't think Sling wants us recording.
No.
So, oh no, wait, it's not. It's not on Sling. It's Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix.
And Netflix definitely don't let us do
No,
that.
they don't. And then there was like a series of promos before the main event, and I couldn't keep up with any of them.
So I'm just gonna go through them quick. Out the Mud is back. There was like a little video package thing. Yoshiki is going back to Japan, and
Yeah.
you had the Cullen come out and blame Briggs for it. And then you had NQCC talking about that whole thing, their victory.
Charlie's
Confused.
Dempsey's putting himself in the title picture. He thought that with Miles winning the battle royal, that automatically means that he's put into the title contention.
Even though that's never been how that works.
No.
And I don't
And,
think the Freebird rule applies
and-
here. So
What I liked what Miles Bourne did, he is somewhat deaf. You could tell by his speech. He goes, he is. He goes, I know I'm hard of hearing, but did I just hear you say, and I'm all like, Miles is poking fun at himself. This is awesome. Because, I mean, it's better to laugh about it than not to, you know? And then I think Obafemi came up.
he
right?
did. And I think they said something about how next week it's going to be Oba and Charlie and something like that. Even though, I don't know, they could have been joking about that because Oba also ended up having this line about how he's done with triple threats.
Thank you, Oba.
And,
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, especially ones that kind of seem like they just could have been avoided, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see. Then you had Chase U. Apparently, Andre Chase is going to be having like some new uniform type thing.
Yeah, I thought that was good. A different change than the polo and the sweatshirt.
Yeah, it looked like. I
He
guess-
originally looked like something out of like a 1960s, 1950s college. But you have, he's got two new main students now. Forget their names, but I know one of them's Uriah, and I forget the other one's name.
I didn't get any of their names.
That's okay. We'll probably come to know them in the future, much like Thea Hale.
Yeah. Then you had the main event, Julia versus Jordan Grace, with Jordan Grace winning by pinfall.
Becoming the number one contender, and then Stephanie Vakir had came out, and they had like just a face-to-face, like, okay, I see you. We're gonna. So at the end of the night tonight, we've already got 3 title matches decided that are going to happen at Battleground, NXT Battleground, and that's on the 25th, I believe. So the first one, of course, Miles Bourne taking on Obafemi for the NXT title. For one, I'm still surprised Miles won that match.
I was thinking they were going to have Javon Evans win at some point.
It was either Javon Evans or Ethan Page. Those are the two I thought. But this come from behind victory from
I mean, he's
Miles.
not going to beat Oba.
Clearly he's not, but he's going to put up. I think he's going to give Oba a run for his money, but I'm still surprised that it's going to happen, and I'm surprised that Miles won the Battle Royal. So, I mean, granted, yeah, he in a way eliminated Ethan Page, but Sean Spears had some help, or had a hand in the elimination of Ethan Page and himself at the same time.
Yeah.
Next up, of course, you have Trick Williams going to go for the TNA World Championship, and Joe Hendry defending it.
At an NXT pay-per-view.
Yeah, I know. This is like crazy. Beyond crazy. So
Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room. A rubber room with rats. The rats made me crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once.
what the hell is going on with you? You good? You good? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Continuing on, then of course decided after the main event,
Completely.
Stephanie Vakir defending her NXT Women's Championship against Jordan Grace. I really do think it's not over yet with Julia. I think Julia is somehow going to sabotage this match in some certain way or fashion. All in all, I enjoyed NXT. It was really good pace. Your thoughts on NXT tonight?
Yeah, I enjoyed it too.
As opposed to last night's Raw, where it was like, honestly, to me, it felt like it was dragging a little bit, but it's the go-home show. It's to be expected because you want to preserve the strength of your guys that are going to be competing in the event. So, yeah, your peoples. So, again, overall thought of NXT?
I would say better than Raw, especially since we decided not to get the names and pictures for everyone in that battle royal.
Or that last promo.
Oh yeah, the last promo. Or I guess the lightning round of promos just.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they were kind of chained together too. Is the funny part.
Yeah, because it was all backstage.
Yeah. So.
I enjoyed it. Match of the night. Your nominee for match of the night tonight.
Main event.
The main event. Okay, because part of me is wanting to say the battle royal. But
all right, battle royal.
No. I could be leaning towards the main event too because, I mean, Julia and Jordynne Grace really put an all-out fight, and a really good textbook wrestling match, tonight, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So our match of the night.
That reminds me. What about match of the week? It's still a 4-way tie, so we kind of got to break the tie.
Well, we're gonna have to break it. We tried to get you guys to vote on it, but we've only had four votes, and every vote was again for a certain match, and wasn't a combined effort. So we're gonna have to vote on it ourselves. So what were the matches again?
See, the ones that were tied are all of them.
Just all of them.
Mike Santana and Mustafa Ali. This was at Rebellion. Breaker and Sami Zayn. That was last week?
Last Monday.
Yeah, all of this is for last week. Perez, Julia, Grace, and Io Sky. Fletcher and Adam Page. Nemes and Kazarian versus Hendry and the Hardys. Miz and Aleister Black. Josh Alexander and Brody King. I'm going with Miz and Aleister Black.
Ooh. Okay, we'll go with that one then. Miz and Aleister Black, last week's match of the week. So we've got the TLC match. SmackDown does it again.
Yeah. Oh.
Two SmackDown matches.
We
got the TLC match for the tag titles, and Miz.
I do remember us talking about
and Aleister Black
a while back, where it's like, which brand was our favorite, and I do remember saying SmackDown. So, I think
we just
both
proved it.
I think we both came to SmackDown and agreed on that.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's kind of funny.
We just proved it right then and there. That's all right. All right. Let me see here. Let me get everything pulled up in the news.
He's got the news.
It's been a bit of a slow news week, or news day actually. So I'll just go ahead and give you guys what's been going on. So Becky Lynch had come on to the Raw recap, WWE's version of pretty much what we do in a way.
It's like
some people are now calling her Becky Hogan.
Just remembered how we were doing the whole Raw version of Nick Aldis, and then SmackDown version of Adam Pearce.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to be doing from now on.
Oh, please don't. Okay. Once he sets his mind to it, he does it.
Well, you know what? Never mind. For SmackDown, it'll just be Nick Aldis, and then for Raw, it'll be the Raw version of Nick Aldis.
Well, on this recap show, like I said, fans are now starting to call Becky Becky Hogan.
So instead of brother, she says sister?
Yeah, or I'm the last kicker, brother. But
Why are they saying that though?
she said multiple things because she's throwing herself into a title picture after a return and everything. When told that, she goes on and says this, quote, "I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. All I've ever done is be kind, lovely, even to people. That's the kind of person I am."
She disappeared and came back. And didn't she admit to attacking Bailey
Yeah.
just to get into the title picture?
Yep.
Only to lose the titles that next thing on Raw.
In a way, it was kind of a Hulk Hogan thing to do, they say. Because Hulk Hogan came to help Bret Hart at the end of WrestleMania 9 when Yokozuna won the title after Mr. Fuji had come in and interfered and the ref didn't see it. Hulk Hogan comes to the ring, and then Yokozuna issues a title challenge that very night to Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan accepted, and Bret Hart said, "Yeah, go, go, go," and Hogan won the title. So it was a way of Hogan getting back into the main title picture. That's why people are calling her Becky Hogan. If you watch that documentary they had on, it's on, I believe it's on Peacock, and it was about how they came about with WrestleMania 9. I watched it. Hogan was not originally not going to be at WrestleMania 9. Ticket sales were not going as well because this was during the transition of the end of the golden era and going into the new generation. The end of the golden era meaning the time of Macho Man, Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Ultimate Warrior, those guys. The new generation was Razor Ramon, Diesel, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Shawn Michaels. The newer generation, these guys that just wrestle, they're not these big, huge guys. The reason being for that, too, also, was because of this steroid scandal that happened in the early 90s. Hulk Hogan was involved with it, as well as WWE.
Yeah.
And so
I kind of thought, I didn't know there was a separation between like those two eras there.
there are.
So
That's
new for me.
Yeah, that's when Vince decided to make up a whole new, to create a whole new era, and that was the new generation. And
Then again, I think the furthest back me and you kind of started trying to watch was like Razor Ramon was already there. I remember that.
that is basically the when Monday Night Raw debuted, 1993. Kind of where I started having you started to watch a little bit, but we're kind of jumping around on the history thing a little bit. We'll watch a pay-per-view from the 80s, and then we'll watch one from the 90s, and one watch,
Yeah.
Either way, he's getting his history regardless. But yeah, that whole documentary,
Here and there and everywhere,
here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, that whole documentary, I'm definitely going to. I mean, we could probably review it after you watch it, of course.
Documentary review.
One that I'm definitely going to watch is Karrion Kross. He's got a documentary that's on YouTube that I'm going to watch sometime, and we'll definitely sit here and just go over it and review it and everything. But definitely you need to watch the WrestleMania 9 one. Very interesting stuff because it talks about how they created a match just for Hogan to be in the picture to get ticket sales. And then this twist at the end, because Bret Hart was like, okay, I'm carrying the company. Vince trusts me. It was like in a way for Bret, it was like the first screw job for him from Vince. And then things weren't working out for Hogan because the fans weren't.
They weren't cheering him anymore.
Well, they were getting tired and bored of him. And they're like, yeah, okay, we get it. Hogan's champ. Yay, we went through this before. Let's get another face of the company. And then up comes Bret Hart after WrestleMania 10. Bret Hart didn't have the title for the span of 1 year because at, I believe it was King of the Ring or SummerSlam, one of the two, Hulk Hogan put his title on the line against Yokozuna, and Yokozuna won. and Yokozuna was the champion up until WrestleMania 10. And he came across many challengers, but it wasn't until WrestleMania 10 that Bret Hart won the title and then became the official face of the company for the mid to late kind of somewhat late 90s. That's when the Attitude Era started to pick up, was the late 90s. But yeah, definitely a documentary. I'd recommend you and anyone out there, if you haven't seen it yet, please watch it. It's very informative. Things that we did not know.
The Cross one and the
No,
manual, or
the
just
Cross one too. Yeah, the Karrion Cross one, but the WrestleMania 9 documentary as well, because they would go through old footage because they had back behind the scenes kind of footage, and it was the first time wrestlers were experiencing this because they were like, okay, what are you doing with this camera backstage? What's this for?
And then Triple H saw that and was like, you know what, we could do that, but on Netflix.
Well, Triple H
Yeah.
wasn't there at the time.
No, I mean, like, he watched the documentary and then he decided to do a Netflix one.
I get what you're saying. But back to the story about Becky Lynch.
Yeah, we got really off subject there.
Well, I had to give some backstory of why people are calling her Becky Hogan.
I legit forgot about the news thing for a minute.
Yeah. Where was she ranting and raving at? Okay. She says, quote, "My face that's already been through hell, my nose isn't perfectly straight anymore, my shoulders popping out, I've got scars all over my arms, all of this from everything I've given to this industry. And after all that, people go around and compare me to the scummiest person on earth, Hulk Hogan, after everything I've done for them. So now I'm the bad guy. I'm supposed to sit here and take it even though I haven't done anything wrong. I broke through the glass ceiling. I changed the game. I'll continue to do what I'm doing. I'll be great. I'll just beat all these younger and newer people. It's not hard, but for some reason it seems to be hard. It seems to be harder on the women's division. Like, look at the men's. Who do you got that's hot and young over there? None. You got a bunch of old lads beating each other up. Nobody's saying, oh, move over CM Punk, move over Seth Rollins. Kind of funny to say that about her own husband. Nobody's saying that, but they're saying it to me. So who's the bad guy? Why am I supposed to move over? The only time I'm going to move over is to make way for more titles. Basically, she's blaming WWE for ageism. Or no, I'm sorry, calling out the fans for ageism.
Even though ageism isn't a real thing.
I don't know. But
I'm of the opinion it ain't a real thing.
your thoughts on that?
I mean, she got scars and stuff. I guess she paid dues or whatever, but at the same time, it's like, you can't just go and cry ageism. Especially because that's, again, not a real thing. Again, if that's the case, then it should be with both genders on the thing. But you don't see, again, like she said, you don't see people saying that to wrestlers like Roman Reigns or Seth
Punk.
Rollins or
Or John
Punk.
Cena, for that matter.
Or
John
especially
Cena's in his
Cena.
John Cena's in his mid-40s.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins is my age. I think Roman Reigns is about around the same age. Gunther, right around he's the same age as me. There are quite a few that are the same age as me. I'm 39, by the way, if anyone's curious or want to know.
Then again, at the same time, the women's division seem with the men's division you have a mix of singles and tag competitors, but with the women's division it seems almost exclusively singles competitors.
Well, excuse you there for that burp. Yeah, but it's going back to what I've been saying from last week about the whole tag division. I'm not going to continue on because if you want to hear my thoughts on it, just go back to previous episodes where I pretty much get on the soapbox and try to say, the WWE needs to strengthen their women's tag division.
They need to move some people around there.
Exactly. and get some legitimate tag teams with tag team names. You know, that's the whole point of being a team. As a team, you have your name, you have the same look, you know, the same kind of gear, kind of thing. You can't be two singles competitors with two different looks, two different names, and you don't have a team name.
But I think that's what the issue is with the women's division. That she thinks she's calling ageism. It's just there's not enough room. This town ain't big enough for the two of us. It's that sort of thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
At least that's what I'm thinking anyway.
Okay. CM Punk has put out who he wants to
He doesn't like Pepsi anymore. No, I'm joking.
who he wants to who's current on the roster that he wants to take on next. He's given props to Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Gunther, and Finn Balor. But he said here, guys I want to work with, quote, I'm quoting him now, quote, guys I want to work with, Jacob Fatu. Got a little taste at War Games, but one-on-one stuff is my bread and butter.
So I guess if things don't work out with him going against Seth and his faction, he'll just try and take on Jacob and potentially get a title out of it.
Yeah. He continues on by saying, Finn Balor is fantastic. I selfishly want to lock back up with Rey Mysterio, teach him a lesson for having such a brat kid. Because they had their classic battle, you know, and I think it was he at the end of that match, I think he wore this Straight Edge Society mask, this luchador mask, and because he was hiding his bald head, because he lost a hair match where he had his head shaved. I think it was to Big Show or something. I can't remember. But he had his head shaved. No, it was to Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio shaved his head. And then he wore a mask, and Big Show then revealed his bald head to the world. Who do you think would be a good matchup with CM Punk? Or some dream matches for CM Punk? If you were to book, or if you were working with CM Punk on pretty much the rest of the year, some dream matches for him, who would you line up for him?
Seth is obvious, so neither of us can say that one.
To be honest, we've seen it.
Technically, yeah.
We've seen it several times.
Okay, so imagine if Cody goes heel.
Okay.
That could be one. That could be an interesting one, I think. Maybe he has his shot at a rivalry with The Rock. We could end up seeing another pipe bomb or something similar come out of that.
Well, he's faced The Rock before, too, at Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship, and The Rock won and took the title from him and changed it from the spinner belt to somewhat of the similar style that we see today.
Yeah. We've seen him and Cena.
Yeah. But they had a great classic match at the Money in the Bank where he won the title and ran off home.
I don't think Cena has enough appearances stored to do that.
No, but it would be nice to see Punk take on Cena and maybe win the title from him. Who knows?
If Orton doesn't do it at Backlash first.
Very true. We could see Orton and Punk.
Yeah. The Legend Killer returns again.
Yeah. Definitely would be looking forward to that. What else? What other matches?
Maybe Roman?
One-on-one? I don't know. I'll be honest. After that triple threat match, I think I'm good on the whole CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins thing.
Yeah, there's not too much going on there.
No.
Well, at least between him and Roman, anyway.
Right. I really think that him and Seth are going to end this rivalry at SummerSlam, and I'm really hoping because I'm ready for him. Rick and he's meaning to say Rick and Morty. Dang typos. I seriously do think, though,
I don't think I've ever watched that show.
mm,
Thank you, Bana.
yeah, we know it's you, Cubano. You're good, man.
Welcome.
No, I honestly think CM Punk having some good matches. Yeah, if Cody Rhodes went heel, that would be a good match to watch. If he took on, I would agree with CM Punk. Him and Jacob Fatu, him against Finn Balor would be good. I don't know about rekindling a rivalry with Rey Mysterio. Not too sure about that.
Him and Dominic.
Him and Dominic, maybe. I think he did have a brief rivalry with The Miz. Not too sure. I mean, because what you're looking at is
Autocorrect. It just has beef
yeah,
with him.
it keeps going doing that. Because when you think of a good rivalry with him, you got to think, oh, doing good. We're doing good. When you think of a good rivalry with CM Punk, you got to think, okay, Punk is good on the mic. You need to have someone that is good or better or just as good as Punk on the microphone, as well as good in the ring. He kind of met that with Drew McIntyre a little bit. When he went to AEW, it was MJF. MJF was
MJF.
that was really good to watch those promos and then watch their matches. But in WWE, you have to think, okay, who's good on the mic that we
Yeah, I was just suggesting names.
haven't seen take on Punk before. I think Punk has taken on The Miz. He's taken on The Rock. He's taken on John Cena. He's taken on Rey Mysterio.
LA Knight.
Could see, that'd be interesting to see him take on LA Knight. LA Knight's good on the mic, and just as good in the ring. I can't think much of anyone else though.
You got anyone, Cubano? Potential matchups for
Or
CM
anyone
Punk.
out there.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah,
Oh, no, I
LFG.
haven't.
There have been some pretty interesting moments. Some real
There
interesting.
were some
moments.
LFG guys on.
On NXT tonight. Yeah,
they were in
that
the Battle
Royal.
Royal.
Yeah, Shiloh is one of them.
I did not get their names.
No, Shiloh. I've watched a few of the episodes. Shiloh is a real good guy, as far as in-ring ability and everything. He's learning quick. There are some of the legends that just can't stop singing high praise about him, and just looking for hopefully good things from him. And he does have a promising career. Let's see here. R-Truth says he's not thinking about retirement right now. Of course, he was on the Chris Van Vliet podcast.
They're gonna have a match, Madison Square Garden next week.
Oh, that's nice.
Cool.
So he went on the podcast and said that he's had a heck of a career and he's still not done yet. He said, "Quote: I never think about time. It'll come to me. I think every answer we seek, look for it'll come to us in due time."
Potato ketchup time.
And
I mean, we did have fries,
we did have fries, yeah.
and I put ketchup on them. So does that count?
I think that counts.
have saved that
R-Truth
for the
continues
stream.
going on about I don't know about him going until he's 100. He goes, I don't know about that, but yeah, we let the We let the body and the universe be the one, the gatekeeper with that. I don't know what he's saying here. I just do what I do.
I don't know either, man.
Let's keep in mind, R-Truth is 53 years old and still wrestling in the company. Ric Flair was pretty high up there in age too, about around the same age, if not a little older than R-Truth, when he was wrestling in the early 2000s, wrestling with Evolution and everything like that. When he retired, I believe it was in 2008 from WWE. He was probably well into his 60s when he had his official last match.
And then he went to AEW, and we were all
No,
kinda
he went to
concerned.
TNA and continued wrestling. He didn't have his last match until later on, and he was in his 70s, and he had his last match. And those guys in that match were sadly carrying him a little. Yes, she is. If anyone remembers the old WCW days, Conan. He dressed like a East LA gangster. I think he's currently working with AAA, and
Speaking of AAA, what do you think of AAA going to WWE?
I think it's really good. I mean, it's to introduce AAA wrestlers to a worldwide audience, and it's to give
AAA wrestlers having a contract with WWE, and maybe some of them will move over. Not, yeah.
some of them may
We
go,
wouldn't-
but
we wouldn't do
I
that last night.
honestly, I think it's a very good thing for for AAA, that company. It's to give more world recognition to their company, and hopefully gives them more money to do things. So
And it lets us see more luchadors type things
I grew-
on
yeah.
WWE.
Well, I grew up watching that a little bit more than WWE sometimes, because your great grandfather introduced me to professional wrestling, and we would watch WWE, but then he would change it over to like Univision or Telemundo, and I would watch these luchadors, and I'm like, this is nothing compared to what I've seen with WWE, where these guys are doing amazing flips and moves and acrobatics.
Meanwhile, I got introduced to luchadors through Nacho Libre.
In a way. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about time for him. Well, there are concerns with WWE treating AAA and watering it down like they did with ECW.
And then eventually they just gave up on ECW.
Well, what they did, what I mean by that is, when that whole alliance thing ended and WWE had officially bought WCW, and ECW's bought the company. Before NXT started to become a thing, WWE debuted ECW, and it was their version,
Yeah.
basically. WWE kind of gave their version of ECW, and it was really kind of watered down compared to what you used to see with ECW, where it was more crazy stuff.
It was more extreme.
It
one could
was.
say.
Yes, one could say. But definitely WWE kind of watered it down, and a lot of people are worrying, well, with WWE acquiring AAA, are they going to do the same thing? Well, Conan has come out.
Yeah, he's on vacation for now.
Yeah, for now. He was asked about
One
that.
of these episodes, I'm just gonna have Sako completely replace me.
Yeah, don't do that.
I don't know. It could be funny.
No. So Conan goes on and says, quote, absolutely not. Plus, the ECW thing was during the Vince era, and Hunter, I don't believe he thinks like Vince when it comes to that stuff, right? We've seen Vince likes to destroy his competition, whether it's ECW or when WCW went there. And Hunter, I think, being in the back all those years while he was learning and being groomed, he heard what wrestlers liked, what the fans liked, and he probably thought, if I'm ever in charge, I'm going to make sure I don't do this, this, and this. And one of the things that he has done, which has been great for the whole industry, is working with so many people. For example, TNA. He's working with TNA, and he's working now with AAA. So here pretty soon it's going to progress to where he's going to, because he's trying to put more wrestling into a world, into a more world perspective. And he's trying to get Europe back in, because he lost it after NXT UK went off. He's trying to get Europe.
UK.
Yeah. So he's trying to get UK or Europe into it again. And there's talks he may get Japan as well. So he's got Mexico now. He's getting...
There's been rumors for a while, and then you had Yoshiki say that he's going back to Japan, which kind of mean... You think they're hinting at that, and that's what they mean? Or you think
Probably.
he's just, like, disappearing from WWE for a bit?
I mean, probably. Triple H has gotten a lot of... let's look at Europe, for example. He's gotten some real world-class wrestlers from there. You got Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor. You've got Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria. And now, I mean, he's getting people from Mexico. He's got Stephanie Vakir. And he's also now kind of starting to reach into Japan by getting Julia, Io Sky, Kairi Sane, Asuka. I mean, the list goes on and on.
They're on the list.
From Mexico, you've got Legado del Fantasma, Andrade, Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio in a way. He's trying to make a melting pot of professional wrestling.
Lee,
Dragon Lee, yes,
the Lucha Brothers.
of course. But like I said, he's trying to make a melting pot when it comes to professional wrestling.
I think she's out on injury.
She's still out on injury, but I did read an article a couple of weeks back that Asuka could possibly come back as soon after Backlash and probably try to help or go after the women's world title that Io Sky is holding. Don't know. It would be interesting to see that.
Damage Control is just going to completely fall apart.
Well, Damage Control is no more. The faction is done.
Oh, what? They officially...
You've got 2 out on injury and 1 that was released, and that leaves Io Sky all by herself. So,
Yeah.
um,
Effectively. Tiffy time. Yeah.
Tiffy time.
You could go after Tiffy, too.
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, the state that WWE is in right now, I'm enjoying. It's a lot different than what I used to, because with Vince running things, he pretty much put like a protective barrier around the company. Like, if you're a wrestler within my company, you do not know anything about WCW, ECW, or anything like that. You don't know anything about New Japan. You're just focused on this company, this brand, you know. And now with Triple H and Nick Khan in a way, Nick Khan running the show and Triple H, it's like, okay,
Khan versus Khan.
in a way, they're saying, okay, we do give recognition. There are other companies out there, especially in the States. You've got companies and promotions throughout the world that we want to give recognition to and bring into our group. Well, I mean, Vince is no longer in charge at all. It's Nick Khan that's running the company, and the guy...
Is Kaiser still even with WWE?
Yeah, he is. He is. We just haven't seen him in any matches here as of late, which we should. We really should. Because he's a good in-ring competitor, too, and...
He just kind of went quiet for a bit.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll see him soon. Well, all in all, I mean, yes, he is. Yeah, see. So yeah, the people in charge of WWE now is it's no longer Vince. It is Triple H, Nick Khan, and the guy that's running TKO. Those are the three guys that we look to as far as anything involving WWE. As far as AEW, you're looking at Tony Khan, Matt and Nick Jackson, Kenny Omega, and I think Hangman Adam Page.
I think I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. TNA, of course, being ran by, it's part of the under the WWE umbrella now, as much as AAA is.
That would explain all the crossovers they've been doing.
Yeah. Also, I almost forgot, WWE is also looking at CMLL as well. The second wrestling promotion, the second largest wrestling promotion out of Mexico. They're really trying to take this whole thing worldwide now. I mean, WWE was already worldwide, but this is going to become more worldwide. And dare I say, they're trying to get. I think the end game for this
Endgame.
is WWE could be putting all these promotions under the TKO umbrella. They may buy out. I mean, they've already acquired AAA. They may get Progress Wrestling out in Europe. They may get New Japan and All Japan.
Yeah.
They may get all those wrestling promotions throughout the whole world and bring them under one umbrella, under one roof, and that's
really
TKO.
That really would drive AEW under, because New Japan works with AEW, last I checked.
Yeah, New Japan does. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. I'm excited for whatever happens around the corner for WWE, and I mean, what your thoughts on this whole thing? I've been talking for quite some time, but your thoughts on everything about WWE acquiring things and your theories.
I think that explains how they could end up going back to those places like NXT Mexico. That would be CMLL, and AAA. That would be a combination of those two. NXT Japan, that would, or WWE Japan, whichever, would be a combination of like New Japan, All Japan, and then the one you mentioned for the UK Europe area.
The biggest one that stands out is Progress Wrestling. There are a few others, but Progress is the biggest one that pops to mind.
Yeah, that would explain how they can do all of that, and I think it'd be cool.
It'd be interesting. I mean, granted, it would be just
especially if they can come up with a better name than just NXT this area.
Yeah. But in a way, it kind of feels like what Vince did during the territory days, where he took up the territories.
I bet you like that.
Well, he that's what he did.
We get to live through territory days in real time, all over again.
In this case, it's like on a global country scale instead of in the States, because you Google search pro wrestling territories in the 80s and 70s or whatever, and you get a U.S. map, and it breaks down what the territories were. You had AWA ran by Vern Gagne. You had NWA all over the place. You had Mid-South Wrestling. You had Georgia Wrestling. You had Florida Wrestling. You had Vince McMahon Sr.'s WWE or WWF back in the day.
Or
WWF. You had, of course, here in Texas, you had the Von Erichs taking over
wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Worldwide Wrestling.
World
Federation.
World Class Championship Wrestling, WCCW.
Yeah. No, I was referring to the 3 W's.
Yeah, in the Tennessee era, you had it was NWA as well, but it was ran by Crockett. Crockett was more in the Carolinas, Georgia. The Jarretts, like Jeff Jarrett's dad and his grandfather, had ran like the Tennessee kind of territory.
Yeah.
But Vince McMahon, that we know, Vince McMahon Jr., started taking these territories because people were starting to get pulled more and more to WWE, and he would be taking up these territories, and he that's what happened with AWA. That's what happened with Mid South, with Florida. Georgia stayed on, and then kind of what they did, they put all their eggs in the basket because Georgia was a part of National Wrestling Alliance,
Which was like the big one they
the
all worked
big
with.
big one, and Vince McMahon Sr. was a part of the NWA.
Until eventually he or Junior.
Junior took over and then just said, you know what, I'm not going with this old.
The future is now, old man.
Yeah, I'm not going with this, the way this past is and everything, and I'm just going to take up these territories and I'm going to do something too. I'm going to bastardize professional wrestling and I'm going to call it sports entertainment. That's
They're gonna
when
be
a lot of people,
superstars.
yeah, instead of wrestlers, they're going to be superstars, and that's when a lot of promoters were like, I'm not liking this, but they eventually, and the ones that did not like it eventually sold to Vince Jr. because they were being ran out of the industry. AWA did that. The Von Erichs, they tried to keep it alive by selling to USWA, which was ran by the Jarrett family. That went under, and they sold to WWE. But the one that stayed alive the most, with the help of Ted Turner, was NWA and Georgia Championship Wrestling, which then grew into WCW. And then we all know what happened with WCW.
And now it's rebooted again as A now.
No. So, yeah. So that's pretty much that's going on now. Or that's what happened, and now we're doing it more on a global scale now. It's not territories within the states, it's within countries, and now we're trying to, WWE is just trying to be the number one pro wrestling promotion in the whole world, and they already are, in a way. But if you want like more local stuff in your area, if you're in Japan, you go to New Japan. You want something in Mexico that's not WWE, but it's more well-known, you go to AAA or CMLL. In Europe, it is Progress Wrestling. And there's a few others in Europe. I just none are coming to mind right now because Progress, to me, stands out the most. And then, of course, here in the States, you've got WWE and AEW. Right now, because in a way, WWE has taken TNA, in a sense.
Yeah. So they're not really competing anymore. It's just kind of...
Well, because, like I said, they're under that TKO umbrella.
Again, that's why they can do the crossovers the way they do.
Exactly.
The background turned invisible. We were in the void.
There we go. So, yeah. Didn't know y'all were getting a history lesson tonight, did you?
Or that far off subject as many times as we did.
Hey, I enjoy talking about wrestling, and I have got a lot of knowledge up here, and I'm still gaining knowledge up there. So, couldn't hurt for you or anyone at home if you guys want to, too. You just watch some documentaries.
We're the AEW, we're the best dressed.
Oh, please. I'll be honest. When it comes to AEW, I'll believe it when I see it, because all I'm getting from AEW right now is we could throw people through furniture and put spikes in each other and put syringe needles in our in their mouths and all this, and we're just all blood. It's like we're starting to become the new generation of ECW, because honestly, that's all that Tony Khan
Not
usually
even-
was watched.
Not even like WWE, ECW?
Not even that, no.
Oh, too much blood? Or
I would think so. I don't know, but from what I remember from
'cause
hearing
the
about
whole
Tony,
watering down.
yeah, from what I remember hearing about Tony Khan, he used to be a huge ECW fan, and he did watch WWE every now and then, but he was more ECW, and it's reflecting in his business. You look at the matches that they have. And then, of course, teaming with New Japan, he thinks he's winning there with New Japan. But no, So, all right then. Well, it is past the hour, and we pretty much just need to get some rest because we got Dynamite tomorrow, and you look like you're about to pass out over there again.
I blame NXT.
Okay, well,
And then tomorrow I'm gonna blame Dynamite.
tomorrow you're gonna blame Dynamite, and then Thursday you're gonna blame Collision and TNA.
Nah, TNA's innocent in this. I'm blaming Collision. And I'm gonna be surprised about it.
Okay, but we're gonna go ahead and head out for now. We do appreciate you guys stopping by and just hearing us talk and everything about professional wrestling. And we'll be here tomorrow night talking about professional wrestling, and the night after that, and the night after that,
And the next day.
and the next day,
And the next day.
and the next day.
And the next day.
As if we weren't creepy enough.
Yeah. I still gotta show you that. I think I already did a few times, actually. Yeah.
Really.
It was like the SpongeBob thing, but they ended up voicing over it.
And the next day, and the next day. All right.
No, it was crabs and plankton.
Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and head out of here, guys. But always remember, check out. You want to. Where is it?
You looking for the thing?
Of course, you guys want to always check us out on our social media sites. If you want to reach out to us on Discord, just let us know. Message us. We will be getting probably a QR code for that, I believe.
In case you're watching on your computer or like your TV and you have Discord on your phone or something.
We'll definitely put something out there, as well as social media sites and email.
Oh, I gotta say the email.
You do every time.
Crosspromopod@gmail.com.
Also, don't forget, we do have an online store. If you find us on YouTube or watching us on YouTube, there on our main page, there is a link, a website link to our store to where you can get our merch. You can get our shirts, sweatshirts, cups, mugs, hats, pretty much things like that.
And hats.
Definitely hats. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the bell there, just to let you guys know when we go live or whenever we put out content, because we do plan on putting out some pretty good content as far as.
And you still have like that short thing to do for the phrasing of what Pat said.
I definitely will. Also, if you are following us, phrasing. If you are following us on YouTube, we will be putting out a series called the Crossbody Challenge, to where Chris and I will be getting into shape. I will be getting back into shape and losing weight, while Chris is going to be getting into shape and gaining strength and muscle. So, yay there. Healthy living. Go us. Definitely.
MJF can't get 3 of those. I know that.
He can't get 3 of those, no.
Just gotta slowly.
Just slowly go. That kind of thing. But definitely check us out. And again, we're getting a lot of content out there. So, for all of us here at the Cross Promo Show, I'm Kevin.
I'm Chris.
And
we
gone.
gone.